I'm Senaka Rozanne.
Hi, I'm Rozanne.
I've been in this industry for almost 50 years now.
I've been in the fashion industry for the past 20 years, I would say.
In my career, what is very important is we have a certain etiquette.
Choreography is something that I got inspired to do by looking at all my seniors. At the moment, I'm choreographing a couple of pageants and I had my school. So continuing to choreograph and enjoying my work.
We try to better it and take it to international standards.
From the Cubicle.
What is choreography?
Choreography is, it's like what a music script is for a musician, or what a musical score is to a orchestra. It is a conductor who plans the body movements for some event set to music or whatever it is. It is the script in how to move your body. Basically, that's what choreography is.
For me, choreography is somebody who sets and plans the entire show basically on stage and also backstage, because if the choreographer is stressed, then backstage is also stressed. So I think it's all in the hands of a choreographer. And he's the one who will tell you exactly what to do, how it's done, and how creative the production is.
How effective do you think personality development is?
I think personality development is necessary for everybody. It need not be a model or anybody in show business. I think personality development is very important to everyone in their general life. The way you look, the way you have some kind of personal hygiene, to how well you dress, how well you keep your hair, all that is personal grooming, and that's very important for somebody's personality. So you don't have to be a model to have these things. I think everyone in their day-to-day lives can be nicely groomed.
Personality development is something that everyone really needs, because even going in for a job interview, you have to have a proper personality that the job requires. So it is not only for the people in showbiz. But saying that, I think because models, actresses, they are in the limelight, they have to project a different image sometimes. So they really have to have a personality that the audience requires. So from outer looks to how you feel from within, how you talk, how you walk, how you look, how you dress, personal hygiene, everything is required to be in a certain standard.
When you are working with a model, what is the biggest thing you need to consider?
Exactly how well proportionate their body is. You know, you can't have people who are overweight, because in the performing arts, it's nice to have slim, tall bodies. And also, I think, especially in the fashion industry, where designers tend to draw their models very elongated, so we need slim, tall models who will not burst at the seams in their clothing. That is one thing very important. The other thing is a little intelligence, so that they must be able to quickly pick up whatever we are telling them to do on stage, and they must have some kind of technique in the way they walk, the way they turn, or whatever they perform. You have to have some elegance in your hands, in all your limbs, and you have to be able to work easily with a choreographer, because all these points are very important.
Yeah, when I work with a model, I look at the person individually, because I think technique is same for everyone, but style differs from person to person. So I make sure that what I teach or what I tell the person to do really suits that person also, like it suits the production. So I think when I work with a model, I look at individuality.
How do you prepare yourself before going into training?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have to be fit more than anybody else, because we are dealing with whole lot of other people, and we have to be an inspiration to whoever is watching and is learning from us. So I think we also have to be very fit, and we must know clearly exactly what we are going to do. We have to be prepared with the music, tracks and all that, and have a rough idea in our heads what the outside, what we are planning to do, and transform these people who are in that production to do what we want them to do.
In today's age, I think the young girls and boys are exposed to a lot of social media and YouTube, and where they can get inspired by different things. So when I prepare for something, like just before training, I make sure I am clear of what I want out of them, not what they want to tell me or not what they want to do for the production. I make sure that I know clearly what I want, and I transform that to them, and that's how I prepare myself. I get ready with all the essential stuff for the production, so that I am ready and I know what I'm doing.
What influences you?
Well, I mean, we have to move with the times, and we are interested in international, what is happening fashion wise internationally, and we also watch a lot of international fashion shows or dance choreographies or anything in the arts, and to get inspired, we are all the time listening to good, nice music, because we are collecting ingredients in our heads to make our next venture an artistically successful production.
A lot of international shows inspire me a lot, because I think with times we have to move forward, and I look into a lot of our senior choreographers, what they have done with the resources that we have, because sometimes we talk about international stuff, but we don't have the budgets to do it, or we don't have the resources or the proper models to execute those productions. So I take bits and pieces from the international arena, but I also look at a lot of our senior choreographers, how they have managed the available resources. So that's how I get inspired.
From the Cubicle.
If you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out as a model, what would it be?
My advice would be is that they have to study their technique well, overcome all the obstacles, have a lovely appealing body that is watchable on stage, and also be able to grasp what the choreographer is teaching you, and with your body language present whatever has been choreographed as well as possible to the audience.
First thing, be yourself. Don't try to imitate someone else. You have your own style. Technique can be taught, but style comes from within. Also, you are not the boss, because you are a byproduct of the designer and the choreographer. So you have to know where your place is. If they tell you that it should be done in a particular manner, then you should be able to understand that and do it. Like many other professions, I think this also requires some amount of education. So if your foundation is properly set, then I think you have a very long way in the industry.
How do you deal with stressful deadlines and challenges?
Well, we are always stressed because we have to work with whatever material that is around us, and always these sometimes when the seasons get hectic, we are running from one production to the other, and at the same time we have to see what the product we deliver is really up to the mark. And also I think in Sri Lanka, since we don't have so very many professional models, it is difficult to take average people like that and transform them into supermodels overnight. So we have a big task to see that everyone is looking good and that everyone performs well on stage.
I think if you are a choreographer, you have to work under pressure. I think that is number one requirement, because working with so many people on one production with various mood swings, various attitudes, well, they bring all their personal problems also on set. So you have to maintain a balance, and you have to make sure that your production goes on well. So working under pressure is, I think, a number one criteria that a choreographer should acquire.
To what do you attribute your success?
I think purely to hard work, being a perfectionist, and I'm not very easy to work with because of this being a perfectionist. People find me difficult to work with, but I really keep my standards very high. And also I think I try to be very original as much as possible, so that has kept me slightly ahead in the industry, because I'm almost over 40 years in this industry. We were the very first people who brought supermodels or catwalk models into this country. So I think that is my hard work is the thing that has paid off.
I think me being a model has helped me a lot, because I understand what they feel, how they will perform, or how they will feel in a particular outfit or with a particular choreography. So I think that has helped me a lot, because now I understand the models, the designers very well. And for me, I think keeping it simple and creative gets me going on a production, and I like to keep it that way.
What was the most important part of your journey?
Well, the most important part of my journey has been that I have traveled overseas with a production of my own called Shades of Sri Lanka at a time when a lot of people were not doing very innovative clothing. I managed to base my collection on Sri Lankan inspirations, and it was received very well for Sri Lankan Airlines at that time, Air Lanka, for all their travel trade fairs and things like that. This was the ideal show, because I showcase my country and its moods and the multifacets of our lovely country through my clothing. So I think that was one of the most important things in my journey in my career. And also I have done some historic pageants where I have studied all the history fashions from very early times to right up to how our clothing has changed in our culture, the influences that the Dutch and the Portuguese and all, how it has changed our clothing right up to now. So these are the most important things in the journey of my career.
For me, I think the most important thing in my journey is the training that I got, because the foundation was set properly. So even after 20 odd years, I am able to get on ramp and still be remembered, as even after I stopped for so many years. The training that I got from the best of the best is, I think, the most important thing that I received during my journey. What we learned in 8 months or 6 months is now being taught just in a couple of days, because times have changed and it's all so compact now. but at our given time we were thoroughly molded, I would say, because I was not a model. I didn't have the model attributes at that time, but I was molded well, and that is what I really treasure even today.
From the Cubicle.
What do you know of each other as choreographers?
Well, Rozanne Dias, I knew for a long time. I think in the 90s I met her. She was a lovely girl. She had a lovely body, and I think she was originally the first was she was in a hair fashion show, and then she was in I think a Miss Working Girl contest, and finally she was in one of my Model of the Year contests. Hard-working, fabulous girl with a lovely body and good temperament, and over the years we have had a very good rapport, and I am proud of what she has become. She went into an international beauty arena also. She represented Sri Lanka, and I'm very proud of her, and we still remain friends, and we still ask each other for help if I want girls, and I was very happy that she started like her own like a model modeling school, and lots of students were graduating every year. Because of that, we saw every year some new faces in the industry, but now she's taken a slightly a back seat, and I'm always complaining to her and saying, you know, go back into that thing, because I think people like that brought a lot of new faces into the industry.
Well, as soon as I stepped into the industry, the first person that taught me how to walk was Senaka, so I'll never forget that. And that training that I got through him and through the senior designers, beauticians who were at my first show, I think that is the grounding that I have, the techniques that they taught me, especially him, and being a perfectionist himself, I've learned so much, and I admire him. Even after so long, he is inspiring people like us to do better in the industry and carry the industry forward. I think I will always consider him as my guru.
What advice would you tell the other?
Yeah, my advice to her is don't give up. I mean, you may have kids and family, whatever it is, but I think she has to continue her school and to keep her magazine. All those things brought a lot of strength and inspiration and things like that with her magazine, Models magazine. I think she was doing a great job, and I really hope, my advice is get back to it again, because there is no one else doing something like that.
I'm no one to give Senaka advice. I think I need all the advice I can get. So I think I'll pass that question.
What first impression did you have of each other?
No, I mean, at that time we didn't know who they were. There were, I think, about over 100 of models in those shows like that. But first impression was, right from the beginning, I noticed that she was a girl who had a vision, and I mean, she had a goal. And I think little by little, step by step, it was nice to see her achieving her goals. That is what I can remember.
When I walked into the hall that we were having our rehearsals, I saw this person who was in control. I mean, from the beginning, he knew what he was doing. So I was very nervous, and I didn't know what to expect out of him. But thankfully, I think he knew that I had something in me, and he accepted me. Completely transformed me, and I am what I am because I think of that day of what he saw in me. So I'm very grateful.
What do you think of each other's careers?
Each other. Yeah, I think, as I said, we are in the fashion industry. I think it's great that she has been doing this because she's opening doors to a lot of new faces to come and to become supermodels and, you know, like make something of themselves. And we wait and we always ask Rozanne, can we have a few new faces like that? We are doing some other show. She will gladly give me some places that we have managed to take those faces into the beauty arena and to send them internationally for shows. I think that link, we have worked well together. I think she's doing a great job. She was doing a great job. I hope she continues.
Well, I think Senaka is a person who will not keep anything behind. He will teach you everything that he knows in any aspect, not only in the technical side, but also about the way of life and how you should conduct yourself in situations in life. And I think I have gone to him for advice in not only when it came to my modeling, but in my personal life also, because he has this wisdom that he knows everything. So I think I really admire him for what he is doing. Especially when he sees someone, he knows whether that person has potential or not, and he really even if that person is not interested, he gets them interested, and that is something that I really admire about him.
What do you think of this program?
Well, I mean, to be honest, this is the first time I have heard of this show, and this is the first time I saw this Cubicle. But I think the way it has been handled, I think it's a good show, and I saw a few snippets of the few other programs. I think it's very good, interesting, because we have a lot of people have never asked us about what choreography is, and I think this thing really showed who we are rather than gossip and this and that. I think technically we discussed about the fashion industry and how we have contributed to it, and where it is now today is because of people like us who have really worked hard to put people on the correct path.
I think it's the first time for me to sit with Senaka and speak about the profession I love so much. Nobody has coupled this together before, so I was a little bit nervous when I was called. I told the guy who called me to ask Senaka if it's okay that I come, because I was feeling a bit nervous. But I think it's a good thing. Two individuals of the same profession talking about two different aspects or two different moods of theirs. So I think it will be a hit, and I wish you all the very best.